As the October 12th showdown is on the horizon, changes have been made to how the broadcast will be presented, where now Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina headlines the pay-per-view event's undercard. So that means Shakur has his moment to shine against Joe. Let's talk about this change. According to recent reports, the October 12th showdown between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol is going to be a huge event with a multitude of fighters on the undercard, but news has changed that the event will be split, meaning that there are going to be two broadcasts. The Dazn pay-per-view event is now headlined by Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina for the WBC lightweight title. Shakur's event is headlining the undercard, and Beterbiev Bivol will be broadcast on ESPN Plus, where subscribers of ESPN will get that broadcast of that main event for no pay-per-view charge, meaning that if you are a subscriber of ESPN Plus, you'll get that broadcast, but for everything else on the card, you will have to pay the pay-per-view. Stevenson Cordina is a good fight. Not as good as a demanded fight between he and Gervonta Tank Davis, but Joe Cordina is an experienced former champion. The only difficulty here is the fact that Cordina was stopped in his last fight earlier this year against Anthony Kakachi, where he lost his super featherweight title. After struggling at that weight for several fights, he had said he was intending to move up anyway, but it's interesting how certain fighters get to jump ahead of the line and get title shots even after losing fights, and the game continues to go on there. But when you talk about Cordina and Stevenson, it is a quality match that could have taken place when they both were at super featherweight. It's a quality match that's taking place now, and though there are people who will be very dismissive of this event, Shakur is facing a man who is not going to give him an easy ride. Shakur is going to have to work to win this fight, especially with the present sentiment that he is not looking to engage. He is not looking to knock people out and stop them. So Cordina is thought of as an easy touch, but things can turn around differently, especially being in Saudi, an environment where Shakur hasn't fought before, and everyone that's there will not necessarily be supporting him. He knows himself, due to his last couple of performances, that there are critics out there, and the boo birds may show up in Saudi. He's going to have to be on his best game when he performs against Joe Cordina. The next fight that everyone should keep a keen eye out will be the rematch that takes place between Fabio Wardley and Frazier Clark. These heavyweights put on a spectacular fight earlier in the year where they faced off, being youthful men in the division looking to take that next big step out of the UK into international contention. Wardley, who doesn't have the type of amateur background and has really learned on the job as a pro, fought valiantly against Big Frage, who has Olympic experience. I believe he was a silver medalist. These two combatants really gave as good as they got, and the fight ended up being a split decision draw, where there was a point deduction for Big Frage at one point during the fight, and then he was also dropped by Wardley. But these two men, with all due respect, fought the way that you want to see young heavyweights do. They tested one another's mettle. They backed one another up at different times. They took punches. They gave punches. And we're not talking about reckless rock'em sock'em type deal. It was just the differences in their styles and how they were fighting effectively against one another, thus bringing them to a point where many people saw it should have gone one way or another, but the draw gives us a chance to see these two young heavyweights come back and show us more. The fact that it's on this Saudi card means that they're going to be financially compensated, as they should be. Wardley being 27, Clark being 33 are two men to keep your eyes out for in 2025. I'm looking to say that this matchup could potentially be the scene stealer, the fight of the night, with what they were delivering earlier in the year. And of course, the main event, the 4-crown showdown between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, a fight that has for years been discussed about these two top light heavyweights, who could prevail over the other. People have been clamoring for this fight, and it is now finally going to take place. There are many people who feel that Dmitry Bivol's boxing style, that pro-am style of being in and out, manipulating with his feet and controlling distance at his preference, it may prove to be something that Artur has trouble with. But I have to remind people, Artur came through the same amateur background and everything himself. It's just that he, as a professional, has become a devastating knockout puncher. In 20 fights, he's got 20 knockouts. And we're not talking about the type of knockouts where referees just jump in and save people. Artur puts people out of there. And it's a great contrast of styles to see these two men do what they do. And there was something interesting that Bivol spoke about after his success over Canelo Alvarez. He says himself he's not a big light heavyweight, and he could see himself dropping down to 168 to compete with Canelo for Canelo's then undisputed titles. But Canelo waved him off, never sought the rematch that they were contractually obligated for. So now the two finally meet. After delays, after contract stalling, after certain sanctioning bodies not wanting to agree to allow it to take place for Undisputed, the two will come together. This is going to be one of the biggest fights of the year. It may turn out to be not so exciting due to both men's styles. Will Dmitry Bivol sacrifice and sell out to try to take the titles away from Artur? We know that Artur is going to come and try to take Dmitry Bivol's head off. But styles make fights, and this is something that we can look forward to. Another undisputed champion in this 4-belt era, where these men can be recognized as the cream of the crop. What an exciting card. I really look forward to it. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think about this split card. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.